up your YouTube, search for Stukeley Meadows, watch on your big screen. Get yourself comfy, this could take a while, what a happy scene. Something new every day for your long-term memory. This is so exciting, it is nearly time for a Stukeley assembly.
Well, good morning everybody and welcome to Stukeley Values Assembly. It has been a while and I'm not in my kitchen everybody, but I wonder whereabouts in the school you think I might be. Just a warning, I'm going to be in a different place each week, so that's going to be part of the fun, guessing where Mrs. Stevens is going to go next and where she is this week. So let's get on with today's Values Assembly and let's begin with all the usuals, please everybody. So, for each other we, every day we, to improve we, and together we will. And our Stukeley motto is, and our Stukeley curriculum is, and 4 words that make the magic happen. Excellent. Right, let's kick off today's assembly. So it is a values assembly, and so I thought it would be really good this half term to kind of revisit each of our values and to check that we have a really good understanding of what they're all about. So today's value, I'm going to give you some clues. Here we go. First letter. And the next. And the next. And the next. I kind of need more hands to show you what that spells, but I'm hoping that you've worked out that C-A-R-E spells care. So today's assembly is all about care. Now the first thing I want you to do, and teachers please feel free to pause the video at this point if you need to, I'll give a little bit of time, but I want you to have a think and maybe a talk to the person next to you, or even to write down, depending on what your teacher would prefer, for you to think of some ways that you show care. What does care mean to you? How do you actually go about showing care to the people and the world around you? So I'm going to give you a little bit of time to do that. I'm going to make some notes, see if we come up with some of the same ideas while you're doing that. Okay, so hopefully that's not enough time. Teachers will have paused and hopefully we're back in business. So I wonder what you came up with. I'm guessing that lots of you will have said that you care for your family. Maybe you take care of family pets that you have. I wonder if you talk about the way that you help your younger brothers and sisters at home, if you have any, or maybe you help your neighbour by putting their bins out for them. I'm sure there are lots of ways that you show care day in, day out, and in lots of big and small ways too. At our school though, when we're talking about care, we don't just mean those kind of things, that the idea of care is a lot broader than that. So I wonder then, if we talk about care being a really important value at our school, what kind of things should we care about? Well, you might have some of your own ideas, but the thoughts that I came up with today were, the first thing I think we should care about is care about our work and our learning, because at the end of the day, you come to school to learn, to know more about the world in which you live. Your families send you to school to learn, so it's really important that that is a really big focus of what we do at school. But it's all very well about your teachers caring about your learning, but you need to care about your own learning as well. So that sometimes can be shown in how much effort you put into answering questions maybe, or to thinking really hard, because that's crucial, and also in terms of your work. So if as a teacher imagine actually that you were a teacher, and you received a piece of work and it was just really scruffy, that it was clear that somebody had just kind of scribbled something on a page as quick as they possibly could, and no real thought had gone into it, and clearly no real care had gone into it. I wonder if in your mind as that teacher, whether you would be thinking, does this person really care about this work? Does this person really care about their learning here? And then you got another piece of work in from the same class, and it was just done so carefully. There was so much detail, and they'd really taken care with how they presented it and organised the work. And you've got these two pieces of work. You've got a really scruffy part with hardly anything to it, then you've got this really detailed, well organised piece of work. Automatically you're going to think, well, clearly that person who's really thought about it and has got lots of detail and cares a lot about their work. And that other piece of work doesn't show me that they care. So at our school, we want you and want all of us to be really caring about your learning and taking care with your work. So that means trying to answer questions. That means really trying to put lots of detail into your responses when you put things onto paper. Really taking care with how things look, because if work is messy, it's really hard for somebody to read and understand what it is you're trying to show. So sometimes you have taken care in your thinking, but you've not taken care on paper. And then it's really hard for the teacher to really know how you are doing in your learning. So it's really important to us that we care about our work and we care about our learning, and that we care enough to want to get better at all of those things. Okay, so that's the first thing I want us to think about, is care about our work and care about our learning. That is fundamental to everything we do here. The second thing at the moment is probably a little bit more topical, and it's really care about our safety and well-being in school. Now, and as not only in school but also in our wider community. Now, a big part of our safety and well-being in school at the moment is kind of one of these. I've borrowed this one. The old hand sanitizer gel. You saw me putting the gel on at the start of our assembly today. So making sure that our hands are clean, so we're washing them regularly and we're sanitizing them regularly, and making sure that we're keeping good distances from other people as far as we possibly can, and we're not putting our hands onto other people, and we keeping our hands to ourselves and looking after our own belongings and keeping our belongings to ourselves. The really important part there is about that showing care for ourselves, keeping ourselves safe, and keeping our community and our friends safe as well. So making sure that we're following all the guidelines on how we keep ourselves clean is really important at the moment. So caring about our health, caring about our well-being and of those of others. So in school we can demonstrate that we care by making sure that we're washing our hands, we're cleaning our hands, and that we're keeping our hands to ourselves and looking after all of our things. So that's really important at the moment. Okay. The other thing I think is important to us as a school is about care for our environment. So if you haven't worked it out, I'm actually in the forest. So when we think about part of our school environment, we've got our indoor environment and we've got our outdoor environment, and I'm in the outdoor area at the moment. Now, in terms of our indoor and outdoor environment, it's really important that we look after it, because if we don't treat things well, we've got lovely new desks and new chairs, if we don't treat those things well, then they will soon look really scruffy and really not very nice to look at all. And actually, we want the school to be a nice place. We want it, you know, we want you to want to sit on that chair because it's a nice chair. We want you to sit at your desk because it's a nice desk. We want you to come outside and enjoy all our lovely outside space because it is a really lovely, healthy, pleasant place to be. So it's really important that we look after our environment. Now, one thing we can do in terms of our school environment, but also in our local community environment, is to really think about litter. Now, I know we talk about this as a school, and it's probably a bit of a bugbear for lots of members of staff in particular, is about litter. The one easy thing that all of us can do in terms of looking after our environment, both in school and also in our local community, is to not drop litter, is to use the bins. Is when you've got rubbish, you put it in the bin. Now, we know that when we've kind of caught a sneeze in a tissue, that needs to go in a really special bin. So that's kind of caring for our health as well as for keeping our environment nice and tidy and clean. But we need to use the bins. We need to make sure we're putting litter away. We need to make sure that we're kind of tidying up after ourselves in our classroom spaces. When we've gone to the AR library, that we're handling the books carefully, obviously with clean hands, but we're also putting the books back carefully so that our environments stay nice for everybody, not just for ourselves. So that's like really important at the moment. The other thing that's fundamental, that probably underpins everything, is care about one another. Let's care about one another, not only in terms of keeping one another healthy and safe by taking all of those kind of hygiene precautions that we've talked about, but actually caring about one another, actually thinking and looking carefully at one another and thinking about, how does that person seem today? I just wanted to show you this. It was a good point to show you that, because I don't know if you could hear that on the video, but a train went past, so good time to be silent. But there's just a picture there of all different kind of faces, and our faces tell us a lot about how we're feeling in a situation. So it's really important that we are mindful of how other people seem and how people are presenting themselves. So think about your friends. Do they look happy today? Do they look sad today? Do they look worried today? Do they look concerned today? Do you actually ask them, how are you feeling today? How are you doing? How's it going? All of those kind of questions are really important for us as staff, us as teachers at school, to ask one another as adults, but also for you with your friends to actually think, how do they seem today? And if somebody seems a little bit sad, or just a little bit not quite themselves, you know, when they're a little bit quiet and you think something's not quite right here, rather than just ignore it, why not ask them, how are you doing? Are you okay? Now, sometimes people say, yeah, I'm fine, and they don't want to talk, and you have to allow for that. It's okay. Sometimes we don't want to talk. And sometimes people might say, well, actually, no. And then they tell you what's wrong, but you're like, oh, that is a really big problem. It's kind of bigger or too big for me to sort out. I feel like this is a big problem, and it's a problem that we really need an adult to kind of deal with here. And it's not right for me to keep this a secret, because it's a big thing, and I think my friend really needs help. So you need to go and think of an adult that you trust, that you can share that with. And hopefully it will be somebody in school. It might be your new class teacher. It might be a previous class teacher that you feel you know really well. It could be a Mrs. Holloway, for example. So think about it. So make sure you ask people how they are. And if you're worried about the response, if they've given you a response and you think, oh, that's quite a big thing and I don't know how to deal with this, then refer it to an adult, but make sure you get help. So we've got 4 key things there to caring at school. We need to care about our learning, because that is fundamental to why we come to school. We need to care about our safety and our well-being. So keeping those hands clean, making sure we're catching sneezes in tissues, making sure that we're kind of distancing and keeping our hands to ourselves. We need to care about our environment, not just our school environment, but also our kind of local community environment. And we also need to care about one another. So if people are looking unhappy or seeming not quite right, let's ask the question. Let's ask people if they're okay. And let's remember that we can get help for them if we feel that it's too big a problem for us to solve on our own. So today, our assembly then, all about care, caring for one another, caring within a kind of a new school environment that we're all in at the moment, but making sure fundamentally that care is a really important principle that our school is built on. So I hope that you've taken that all on board, everybody. I hope that that's reminded you what we mean by care at this school. And of course, I'll leave you guessing not only where will I be next week for the assembly, and I'm telling you now, if it's raining, it's going to be somewhere indoors, and also what my next assembly topic will be on a care theme. So take care, everybody. Remember to care for others as well as care for yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Oh, hey there! Now, I'm not supposed to be here in the Values Assembly because it's Mrs. Stevens' gig, but I did tell her that I would try and stretch the video out so that it was at least 20 minutes long. So I'm going to link to Mrs. Stevens' care assembly, by telling you that over lockdown, I cared for a lot of the Stukeley teachers and staff. I cared for them so much that I made phone calls to them to check that they were okay. Here are some of those phone calls.
Hello, Mr. Smith.
Oh, hey, Mr. Smith, it's me. How you doing?
Hello, Mr. Watley.
Hello, Mr. Watley. It's Mr. Singletary here, just ringing to see how you're doing in lockdown. Hello, Mrs. Stevens, it's me.
Here he is, one of my favourite people.
Oh, you are so kind.
Hello, Mr. Partridge.
Oh, hey, Mr. Partridge, it's me. Anyway, this video you've got.
Ah, yes. I can't wait to send
Right.
it.
I feel like a new man.
I bet you do, but what about that thing you do with 2 eggs every evening?
I'll never say never.
What would you most like to bathe in?
Custard.
Animal you want to ride to school?
Goat.
Okay, person you'd most like to wrestle?
Mrs. Cooper.
Oh, in your head, are you a Backstreet Boy?
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
What are you going to wear?
Absolutely nothing.
What?
I'm not sure what the problem is.
Okay, up for a quick quiz?
Yes, of course I am. I love that sort of thing.
Who would you most like to wrestle to the ground?
McKellar.
Okay, favourite TV programme?
Peppa Pig.
Have you ever tried Mrs. Lewis's cooking?
I wouldn't recommend it.
Oh. Place you'd most like to go in the world?
Got Manchester.
That's a bit harsh. Food you'd wear as clothes?
Marmite.
Just remind me again?
You're wearing a hat and a fake moustache, you're staring at the camera for a full 2 minutes and biting a raw onion every 20 seconds.
That's the one.
Talking of which, that photo of you wearing loads of clothes all at the same time.
Ah, yes. That one, yeah. Yeah, I'd almost forgotten about that, yeah.
Oh, favourite breakfast food?
Quiche.
Oh, are you ever going to arm wrestle David Cooper?
Yeah, after lockdown.
Name you'd have instead of your own?
Martin Gong Merchant.
Favourite breakfast food?
Jaffa cakes.
Time it takes you to eat your breakfast?
4 hours and 13 minutes.
Oh, God. I enjoyed that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah. Cheers then.
Okay, cheers, bye.
Thanks, Mr. Smith. Bye. See ya. The most important 60 seconds are now. First of all, care. You've just had a values assembly all about care. It is my favourite value by a mile. And if I'm honest, I think it's most people's favourite value. Nothing, I'll say it again, nothing is more important than looking after other people and yourself. Nothing is more important than showing kindness and good manners to other people. Nothing is more important than thinking about other people and putting their thoughts sometimes above your own and sometimes making them a priority. Care is the most important value for putting a smile on people's faces. Also, in our most important 60 seconds time, learning logs. Are you reading every day? And most importantly, are you writing in your learning log every time? We will be checking.